Right.
and get carried.
Right. I need to make the introduction, I feel.
Yeah.
Like I just need to do it. Like I was never a fan of the introduction, actually. But
Yeah.
now that Sneaks isn't here and isn't making it, it just doesn't feel like quite a beginning without it, so. Welcome everyone to the 22nd episode of the GW2 PvP Podcast, hosted by ArenaLabs. Crayola coming to you with today's guest, Cro, the Croatian Tiger.
Hello there.
How was that?
Oh my God, man! It's storming here, like so hard. Just a second.
Perfect. We got the perfect weather going then. A storm brewing up.
Yeah, man. It's raining really hard now. It started.
All right. Well, I actually checked out your YouTube channel before
yeah.
before ever talking to you, and it was really cool seeing some off-meta ranger builds that were working really well against some meta builds. So I think we should get straight into it. Like, you play ranger?
Yes.
How long have you been playing ranger for?
I play Ranger from the start, and even back to the original Guild Wars 1 game. I also played almost only Ranger there as well.
Oh, so you're like an OG ranger.
Yes. I like pets, pets and nature team.
Damn. Okay, well, my first question is then, how similar or not are the rangers from Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2?
You mean how? What's the difference? Yeah, there's a big difference actually. Like in Guild Wars 1, Ranger was about interrupting the people. That's the aspect Guild Wars 2 kind of lacks, in my opinion, because everything is like hard CC. And in Guild Wars 1, Ranger was actually you needed to you need to know what to interrupt in which scenario. So you need to know if you go for offensive interrupts or defensive interrupts, and sometimes the people you need to interrupt have blocks and things. that was the advantage of Mesmer in Guild Wars 1. It's also the same in Guild Wars 2. But it was a lot about interrupting and spreading the pressure and condition damage. It was cool profession overall, very skillful actually. Maybe the one of the hardest class in Guild Wars 1.
So how come you chose the ranger in both games?
Yeah, in Guild Wars 2, Ranger is also not a easy class most of the time. Depends on the build, of course. Like there are some people like folks which play the gank versions of the Greatsword and the Longbow build, and it's kind of it's really hard. I mean, you need to time the things, and you need to watch the cooldowns and count the cooldowns of the opponents and things. You need to be also very aware of the rotations of enemy's team, because you do not have big survivability. But yeah, sorry.
You know, I was gonna ask, like, what did you play in core days?
In core days of Guild Wars 2,
Yeah.
I was playing the core ranger, obviously, and I was playing it all the time, like longbow and the greatsword build. I was playing it for like 3 years until Heart of Thorns came out. I think I was playing that all the time. Yeah, but there was a build with spirits actually for some time going on. That was also. I also played that spirit build. You know, when spirits was able to follow you and things.
Yeah, I remember that. In tournaments, it was really popular. At one point, even running 2 of those, right?
Yes.
That's pretty good. So did you switch to Druid and Heart of Thorns then?
Yes. I like the druid a lot. I like it now as well, but I think the whole class is like going the wrong direction. in terms of a role inside the PvP.
Now, you mean?
It's
In the wrong direction right now?
it's used mostly to tank stuff. Like I think the druid should be the proper support. Many people think that because we already have the core ranger, which is duelist build, and druid should bring some like team fight. It doesn't have to be like other builds in team fight. It needs to have specific role because right now, like Tempest have auras and Warrior have instant cast shouts which heal AoE, and that druid is hard to heal. It has some nice heal spikes right now, but the problem is it's hard to land. Like you need to go close combat. I don't like druid being forced to heal in close combat. I think it should be like ranged healer. It would make sense for me, and it will make big difference. Because right now it's just used for decapping sides and playing like a duelist, and it doesn't bring anything new except this decap style, which I'm not really fan of.
That's so true. There's so many other builds and other classes that perform all sorts of tasks within the game, like, and Druid just Ranger just does that. So you've been experimenting with many off-meta builds, right?
Yes. I started to play the conditions back in days in Heart of Thorns with the Druid. There was like build with the traps. I actually forgot what was the rune I was playing with. I'm not so sure about the rune, but it was like running the skirmishing and the wilderness survival and the druido. And it was fun because you had I was playing the short bow and even stuff fighting. No, the sword torch. Yes, with a quick draw. So you put like bonfire with a quick draw, which makes it like less cooldown for the next time, and combined with trips, and you had like ancient seeds procs with like instant dazes, which was it was cancer. I not gonna lie, man. It was very powerful back in the days. Also, right now it can work still, but it's kind of the meme. Back in days, it wasn't even a meme. It was kind of good build.
Yeah, especially because of like players not knowing how to counter something that they hadn't encountered, right?
Yeah.
Like especially maybe on Ranger. This is my problem. I don't know much about Ranger at all. This is the class that I know least of, most definitely.
Yeah.
And it just like, I can't even tell sometimes between dagger sword combos they have. Like, or like if I see a short bow, I'm like, oh shit, that's right. That's the weapon I know nothing about.
Yeah. The thing is about sword, it's when you see a lot of evades, you know it's sword. Like sword is kind of you can get like 3 evades from the sword if you do perfect rotation. It's good for mobility and things, but the damage is not the best, but it's like low key damage, which
Right.
still can do the job. It's like SD thief, like.
Oh, that's a good analogy, yeah.
Yeah.
SDT, like, what kind of roles do you fill with your off-meta builds?
It's mostly dueling. It's still about dueling, like the core ranger and things. But I don't know. The idea was to make the condition-based ranger builds, which are usable in a higher tier of PvP. So they should have like proper cleans, proper amount of stun breaks and damage, of course, yeah, and survivability. So that was the main idea, and actually I try to make builds which are not just spam conditions. Like, yeah, of course I still spam conditions because it's a condition-based build, but I try to, for example, take the double dagger ranger and make it viable. It was like very big goal when I started because nobody I saw in ranked playing that shit, man. And yeah, just heard people like, what the fuck, dagger is the worst weapon in game, not just on ranger and things like that. But if you yeah, it's still not the meta build, of course, but it can work. It have its niche. And thanks to trapper runs mostly. That, that build without trapper runs, I'm not so sure if it will be viable in ranked plays. But yeah, you can always turn things around. Like even some skill which is not the best in comparison. If you somehow turn things around, you can actually. I think you can make everything work inside PvP.
That's very interesting. You said to me earlier that like your main thing is theory crafting.
Yes.
So I understand that was like the big thing in Guild Wars 1 as well.
Yeah, very big, very big.
I guess that's like also some part of your knowledge comes from that whole thing.
Yes.
I'd like to ask you how you approach theory crafting on Ranger. You're saying everything kind of works. Like, how do you know what or like how do you decide what works during the, let's say, current meta? What would you go?
Yeah, that's a good question. Very good question. For example, when I took the dagger ranger, I took the trapper runes, and now I will explain the synergy. First thing I saw is like I have healing trap skill, which is the water field, which stays for like 10 seconds. I think it's 10 seconds. I can check it. I have a game currently online. Yeah, it's 10 seconds. And each 2 seconds you get removed two conditions.
In the cabin
like,
thinking she must have
and
gone
the
in
thing
there
is,
because that's
like the dagger 3, which is not the best skill ever, but still it's 2 leap finishers. Like you have 2 leap finishers for the combo water field, which stays for like 10 seconds, so you don't have to panic use it, and you can play you can chill around it. And then I took then I was like, okay, so I go this direction. I see I can get sustained from the water field, and I took because of dagger have 2 leap finishers. And then I was thinking about which pet to take, because I want to use the advantage of the soul beast to have some kind of mobility and things, and especially on dagger, because dagger is not really good for gap closing. You need some snares, and yeah, we obviously have a short bow in that build, but you still need some kind of more mobility. Yeah. And so I find out the snow wolf, the pet, which also I don't know if I saw anyone play it. I saw later some people. Has 2 leap finishers, like one, which one is knockdown and one is cripple. And cripple synergize with dagger 4, which they changed. So dagger 4 on ranger is like if you have movement in impairing conditions, you put 5 stacks of poison instead of 3, and you deal like double damage. Yeah. So and even the F3 is the stun break with the immunity, so it was like perfect. I have 2 leaps, knockdown, the cripple, which is set up for dagger 4, and stun break, yeah, with immunity. So it's kind of based around that. The whole idea is kind of based around that. And yeah, of course, the trapper runs. So even when you use the heal skill, you can, like thief. It kind of reminds me of thief because of this stealth on the heal skill, like heal trap. So you can get stealth, super speed, and then immediately leaps, and it has a good resustain. That's the thing with that build. It can die easily focused, but it can actually also never die. It's like Thief, I think, in terms of survivability.
So how do you mold that, or like how do you approach that for the meta that's currently up? Like you have Hollows running around, Renegades, Reapers, Necros, Thieves.
Yeah, that's also a good question. But to be honest, it came that part came spontaneously because I wasn't paying that much attention. Of course, I was playing the ranked games and I was seeing if something works better or not. But I was testing stuff. But meta was mostly power, like, and the specializations on which was playing for the nodes, duelist components was playing mostly the power builds. So I actually just tested it and see if it works, and many people got spiked by because they didn't expect it. They didn't know anything about the build. What you say? Yeah. So that's kind of the most important thing, because people don't know what you play, so you can pull some spikes which they don't expect.
You have that advantage, right?
Yeah, it's big advantage.
How about when you get into like higher ranks? How do players deal better with that?
Yeah, of course. That's the story with the conditions. I feel like, because at the lower tiers, like the good example is burn the age. At the lower tiers, the burn the age will just farm people, because it can happen in the higher games as well. I don't think it's like, wow, you are noob, you ate the traps damage from the burn the age. No, not really, because there are a lot of tricks which they can use to kind of be sure to land it, and especially if they are good in counting the cooldowns. But the thing is, the higher tier PvP, people know how to cleanse. That's the biggest difference. Like, people know how to cleanse, and so the conditioned builds are not so oppressive over there. It's kind of hard to play conditions in top tier. It's not easy as people think.
Right. I mean, that's really true. It's Sneakers always calls the DH burn DH the pleb hunter, you know.
Yeah.
The pleb farmer, actually. Well,
Yeah. But it actually farms even the good players. That's also true, but much less than.
that's true. So like, Condi Ranger, what's it about? Like, I've never anytime I'm playing versus it, it's doing a lot of weird damage, like condition damage,
Yeah.
cripple, and all of that.
Yeah.
It's very effective versus two players, but how do you actually use it in a team environment?
In team environments, I usually just go close or even far. If I see that I have good matchups, then I will push even far. But
Do you ever push in a team fight?
I push in a team fight. Not really. I push when I have to. Like, if I see my team can't debunk the things. If I'm playing like Trapper, I can go and put some pressure on the node and like stay there for example, like 5 seconds just to help my team out, and then I immediately go back to dueling again, mostly. Because I don't think the Ranger, that's the problem of Ranger overall. The Ranger is not that good in team fights. It's not really good. It's much more value to just duel on Ranger. Yeah. No matter of build wars, it's mostly that you are gonna duel people when you are playing the Ranger class.
I remember back in Heart of Thorns, like when Denial played it, Rom was basically just holding close, intact. Like the movement speed was like really good on Druid, and he could
Yeah.
survive an outnumber, right, long enough, and even support players and stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah, the druid was very strong in the heart of thorns, and it still is in terms of surviving the 1 versus 2 and things, because you have stealth, you have good resustain with the celestial avatar. Even the stuff have evade back then, and it should still have it if you ask me. But I don't know. The druid is very strong, but as I said, I don't like the direction of a druid. It's not even the team fighter like it should be, if you ask me, because we already have core ranger.
That's true. That's so true. I think it's. I mean, I don't see enough rangers and druids and deviations on these builds in the game. I feel like, and I think it's really cool that you're actually putting up videos on YouTube of your gameplay. I think I might try some of your builds after seeing like how you play them. Actually, just incorporate the play style.
Thank you.
So, like, why did you, or how did you start posting? Actually,
I was having some blast with the ideas, like when I was playing the game, like when I started to play like dagger, and I see that I can. When I saw first time that I can beat like good people with it, and then I was like, sure, this can work. And then I almost got with the solo queen legendary division with the dagger once, and that was the time when I was like, I'm gonna film it. I'm gonna prove that people that some stuff can work outside of greatsword and the longbow. Because I just got bored of Power Ranger, because it was the same variation in like it was the same build in like 5 variations. Like even Druid is part of that is variation on the core version.
greatsword and pew pew usually, right?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I think it's really cool seeing that, like, you showcasing that.
Yeah, thank you. But I'm not the best player. I'm not even good player. I don't declare myself as a good player. The thing I enjoy most in MMORPGs is theory crafting.
That's awesome. Like, if you're
I
making
think I'm decent, like player.
if you're making dagger work in legendary, you're a really decent player. There's no.
Yeah, but not legendary. I wasn't. I didn't get it. I was like I don't know, like 10 reputations from legendary, like 1 win more for legendary. then I had the like lose strike of like 5 lost, and you know how it goes.
Yeah, of course. But if you actually like stack up against players in that division, you'll do fine on your completely off meta build, which is admirable. That's really cool.
Yes,
thank you. What do you plan to do in the future with your channel or your content?
I'm not really sure about it because not many people play PvP, and I'm not the best with the programming and things. I think I will still stick to the same thing, like make some theory craft and share it with people and talk through it. I have there is a lot of people on my channel which likes theory crafting, and that's the kind of audience I enjoy, because in real life I don't have a lot of people which play Guild Wars. I have actually like 2 friends which casually do it, and they can talk obviously about Guild Wars 2 as much as I can. So it's really cool to have a channel and share some ideas and get the feedback from the people.
Right. I feel you on that, actually.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I know, and it's like story of us, the people who play PvP and experience this game, actually. how big potential it has.
That's so true. I think your ranger play is a really big testament to that, like, for sure. Like, because there's so much theory crafting room in the game,
Yes.
right? You said what was it, like 95% of the potential isn't tapped into, right?
Yeah. There is there is always some way to make something work. That's what I want to believe first. But you need to set like perfect circumstances under, for example, the dagger can work and things like that.
Yeah, you gotta watch out what you match for, like what works against that and stuff.
Yes. Actually, I made this new build about the bird, the beast master. It kind of feels like a real beast master build because the pet is big part of your damage, which is also true for the like core ranger and other things. But with this build, you actually reposition it and even pay more attention to your pet. Like if you out attack and press F2 after the out attack, it will proc much faster. And things like when you are soul beast, you can just go in the beast mode, swoop, reposition your pet, and the burst with F2 and things like that. And the big thing for me was that this build actually works fine inside of this meta. Now when the Kala Rev is nerfed, and it works. It worked versus Hollow even before the nerf on Hollow. So I didn't even wanted the nerf on Hollow. I think the Hollow was good profession to debunk the stuff.
That's good. That's good. Actually, a Renegade change made it good for you. That's good.
Yeah, very good, and that's what I want to say. It wasn't intentional when I made that build that it will be like meta counter or things like that, but it turned out to be that it counters a lot of meta comps.
I got a question for you. Like, have you ever
Yeah.
played in a team environment?
Not much, not much, because I usually just play to chill out, and I rage sometimes also in the game. Like
But like, then maybe you'll know, maybe you won't know. Like, what would be a good comp? Let's say one of your builds, or like a ranger, whatever. But a comp build around that.
Yeah, that's perfect question. I don't know how to answer it to not go too wide, man. that's the I'll try to go wide. Like in Guild Wars 1, it was a lot about team composition. It wasn't just a bunch of solo builds, which I know in Guild Wars 2 there was like a Scourge and Firebrand combo and things, but the problem with Guild Wars 2 is, for example, you go on the meta battle and you see the meta builds, but it's not like you have in Guild Wars 1 you had also the site like meta battle, and it had like a lot of the team builds. Like you had balanced, you have invoke spike, you have ranger spike, you have contagion spike, you have some weird stuff like EOE bombs, like Sway, BBW, and there was a lot of totally different team compositions, and that's what the Guild Wars 2 lacks, in my opinion. There is a lot of space for solo builds, theorycraft, but I don't see that the game pushed a lot of team builds, theory crafting, as Guild Wars as much as Guild Wars 1 did. Not at all, actually, because on meta battle you don't even have the like team builds. You have builds, but you don't have team compositions.
That's almost not even a concept right now in the game.
Yes.
Which is insane to think about, like that in the first game you actually had structured team comps builds on websites, right?
Yeah, you have like same amount of structured team comps as you have solo builds in Guild Wars 2.
That's insane.
That's why I said it's a very good question, and I don't know. I would like to experiment, but I don't have amount of people which I have a lot of people which I can play with, but they are never online in the same time. Like some of them work, I also work, and it's hard to, it's
Yeah,
hard to,
that's a bitch getting coordinated with people across the world.
yeah. But I would definitely like to, because I have even some ideas about the team comps. And
How do you think we could implement that in Guild Wars 2?
oh, that's good question, and that would be very beneficial for the game as well. I think that we need to actually. I don't know if we need to wait the expansion, but most realistically, we will have to wait the expansion for that. But the problem, I think, the main issue is you have only the solo and duo queue. You have tournaments, of course, but it would be much better if we have separate like queue as now is like the solo or duo queue, and to have separate full team queue like guild. Like you need three of people. We need to be in a guild out of five to go ranked 5 versus 5. So I don't think the guilds in Guild Wars 2 push that idea of that team comps and team fighting as well, because getting you to play with randoms is fun, but still we really need the team quiz inside of this game, even if it's kind of dead for the
Yeah, I mean everybody's kind of solo queuing, right? Like everybody's playing solo.
Yeah, and it's really fun for chill, but
Like maybe like you're aware of a team comp, right? And some players are aware of the team comp, but many players aren't aware of what the team comp is. Like,
yeah,
they don't know the other builds they're playing with, and that's a big portion of the player base, which is kind of lacking, not because of the player base is bad or anything, like skill-wise, but there's just no information anywhere on that, right? Other than looking at past VODs and discussing those, or like
yes. Really, that's so true. Yeah.
So there's always a current meta, right? And the current meta comp, or many apparently, that should work, right?
Yep. And it doesn't. It's kind of stale. That's what I don't like about it. Like, for example, you have roaming in Guild Wars 2, and the thief is the best roamer in game. Like, who can only who can replace only class which can replace thief is mesmer, and the problem is that thief counters mesmer, so it just straightforward push the thief inside the meta. But yeah, mesmer have some unique things like portals and things, but they gave it to the thief as well. So I don't know. Some unique stuff is lost inside of the game. Like Necro have a lot of teleports now and things, but I think like thief will always be thief, and mesmer will always be mesmer as well. But some things are like power creep from time to time, and the issue is we see mostly the same specializations and classes being played. Like I don't know, I don't remember when the ranger was meta. Like really, it was when the boon beast was active. But
yeah, I mean truly meta. Yeah, I think a really good point you made was that they're making some classes are starting to lack uniqueness, right?
Yeah.
And this is so true. And like one of my fears actually of the expansion coming, which I'm all for, but like I'm hoping they don't like just give everything to all the classes, because it's just kind of losing the sense, like Mesmer's big thing was portal, right? And clones, it's like if every class can spawn a bunch of minions, clones, whatever you want to call them, there's no deviation between them anymore. They're all just the same thing. It's just a bunch of on-screen flack, right?
Yeah, that's true.
that
But-
shouldn't be lost. That's so like the rules that are
that's a
created.
big part of this game. Yeah.
Yeah. And the beauty is getting lost. It's like the colors are merging too much together, creating one color instead of so many. You know? Like,
Yep. The problem is really mostly the power creep. Like I don't know, the classes are fine, but how to balance this game? Like you have teleports, you have stealth, you have so many different things, or waves of survivability, and it's really hard game to balance. Like I can understand why it's so hard to balance, but some things are just obviously broken. Like, and that's what takes too long inside of this game. So it makes the meta even more stale, and because things change so slowly. Like, and obviously the teleport will always be better than like a leap or something like that. But they kind of make the good trade-offs in balancing it there. In case of like Power Herald, the double sword version and stuff, the old school version. That's the balanced build, if you ask me. And it has teleports, of course, but it's balanced build. It can be countered, and Thief also, the old version of Thieves, he was able to kill Thief, but now they power crept it, and of course the problem is the design of again the design. Like, how can you balance the Thief to give it the viable duelist role, and at the same time doesn't make it power crept, like with all the mechanics of stealth and ports and things. So it's really hard game to balance.
that's true, but I find like the most recent patch was really weird regarding Thief. I don't get the short bow 5 nerf.
Yeah, but it's maybe too much. But
Like, I've been talking to main thieves for months and months now, and everybody is agreeing on one thing, that Shadow Arts is just too much, because you have free stealth and you can just run away, stealth up.
yes,
And that's the big thing, and I think that's the... And no changes has been made to that, which is really weird. Like, why
Yeah.
nerf the one thing that makes it unique is the decap potential, the quickness of Thief, right, around the map. Like, why make it more initiative cost? Like,
yeah. That's the kind of lazy approach, but it still do the work the same. It do the same work, but it just kills diversity for the thief. That's the problem. Not just for the thieves. Like it's also the issue with the recent hollow nerfs and things. But I still think the thief will be strong even with that nerf. And yeah, I agree with you. I don't like that approach of increasing the initiative. But I'm not that experienced in Thief to.
yeah, neither am I. It's just weird. It's some changes that we'll never know why.
Yeah. They obviously just needed to nerf the Shadow Arts. Yeah, it just gives like too much. But still, how to make the duelist Thief build? I don't know how to make that. That's actually a bit. I see a lot of Thief mains like wanting to play duelist and saying like my class doesn't allow me to duel. But in the same time, I feel it for Ranger. Like my class doesn't allow me to be viable roamer. So I don't know. There is still some holy trinity in the game from the start.
Well, if you think about it, like, if you're playing Engie, you can
Yeah.
be anything basically. If you're playing Necro, you're gonna have a good time. If you're playing Guard, you're gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
If you're playing Ranger, you're gonna, well, you be the judge of that.
Yeah.
If you're playing Thief, I think it's like you're still in a good spot right now, because Thief is
Yeah,
just
of
fucking
course.
awesome to play, right?
Yeah. It's always have been. I
Yeah.
mean,
if you're playing Renegade, it's in a good spot. You have two very viable variants.
Yes,
Three, potentially. There's potentially so many that we don't know, but like, and we know and whatever, but like the current meta, let's say.
Yeah,
And then we have Mesmer, which is kind of falling off, but it was really prominent.
Yep. You know, the thing is that the game is really hard to balance. But that's what makes Guild Wars 2 fun, actually, because so many different types of gameplays inside one game, and yeah, it's obviously hard to balance, but it's still a big challenge, and that makes this action combat feels this good. So now I think the meta is pretty fine. Like there is a lot of bunker things and annoying matches, which are like bunker spamming things, and I think that kind of gameplay needs to be nerfed now. Like thanks, but and the the problem with the balance in this game is mostly because when they nerf things, they just kill it. They don't nerf it. That was before. They just kill it.
They don't tweak it. They just cut its head off.
Yeah. But for example, you have Thief. Like they had to try something like 8 initiatives, because how would you know? Now you will see after some time if Thief is doing fine with that nerfs, and it will make it's still the same playstyle. Like
I'm playing Thief right now, and it's like these little changes. They're not that big, and like I mean, I've always watched Synth play, and he's always like tweaking the build up and down, like adapting, playing this and that. So
yeah, it feels like he have like 30 initiatives, man.
like a thief is a thief, you know. They'd have to do something serious for it not to be a fun thing to play. And
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. They've done it before, but
yeah, but they should find the way to nerf things, but still don't touch the playstyle of the build.
Yeah,
that's the goal, if you ask me.
I always thought the easiest thing would just be like, okay, Hollow 2 did too much damage for the longest time. Like instead of just removing like Prime Light Beam its entire damage to 6, wow.
Yeah.
You know, maybe just like, okay, so if Hollow Leap 2 does 100% damage, make it do 75% damage right now, or 80, or whatever the number appropriate. And this and that skill that does too much shit, you know, and like bring it down like that. Which in some parts they do, but it's way too late usually. Like it takes too much time.
Yeah, we get hot fixes at the end of the season. I don't think that's.
But I'm really optimistic right now. I think they're gonna get back on track really fast because there's a lot of good debates going on and stuff.
Yeah, I like this. I actually like this CMC. The thing he does about the nerfing stuff. I maybe get hated for saying this, but I really think the Mirage need one dodge. But the problem is they nerfed it into Oblivion before they done it actually to make it one dodge only.
That's true.
So those things still stay nerfed, and they took away the dodge at the end. So it was like killing blow, and I think they should revert some changes they done to the weapons, like stuff and things. Like stuff now is really bad weapon.
You should talk to Jazz. She's a main mesmer. She says like it's retarded for a class to have just one dodge. As well, it's retarded to have for a class to do stuff while it's dodging, which is really weird.
Yeah, but I find it balanced. Actually, those two things.
No, from an outside perspective,
for me, like you have very powerful dodge.
If you're not playing mesmer, I think like, but I would so love to hear it like from a couple of different perspectives. You know, what do they think about that one dodge, two dodge thing? Couple mesmers, you know.
Yeah, you have to ask the mesmer players. I also tried the mesmer a bit, but I'm not good at it. I should practice it. It's also new for me, but But I think the loss of the dodge can be gained if they buff like other things like weapon skills, some traits. Resustain, I think, is most important, which Mesmer currently lacks. The resustain.
Yeah. Yeah, once it's like down like 40% HP, it's dead. It can't resustain if you
But
focus.
it's still cool because you can like attack, cast things, and evade, combine things, and be like very impactful and very reactive. But with one dodge, it makes the build very reactive because you still have distortion and things. But you know, the resustain is very bad because they nerfed it into oblivion. So yeah, it really needs buffs in some spaces.
Yeah, it does for sure.
But I don't think it needs the second dodge back. But yeah,
Do you think Ranger needs any buffs or nerfs?
I think the Ranger is fine, but I don't know, some things I don't like because they are like straight from the PV, man. Like you have the trait for short bow, and I always thought it would be cool to have like short bow trait which will push some interrupt playstyle. That's actually my Guild Wars 1 nostalgia, of course, but I think they should make it like some cool interrupting variant around skirmishing line and not CC made for stun, actually, to make CC like the Mesmer have distracting. Oh my god, man, I forgot the name.
Oh, I know which one you're thinking of.
Yeah, the power lock.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah, that's actually very cool gameplay. I like it on Mesmer. It also have trait for power block to make it to push that style. But I would like if Ranger have the same opportunity to do that actually. Because like skirmishing line and some other lines, there are still traits which are not touched from the start of the game, like which was never really viable. I don't know. Some of the traits really look lazy, and some look really awesome. So,
That's so true. That's same on NG actually, or every class probably a bit.
Yeah, I think even this system will be good for making more playstyles in the game. It's also the community's problem because not many people test stuffs. There's not really many people which test stuff. Like most of the people just grab the build and say, "Yeah, I'm gonna play this," which is, of course, it's fine. But I think there is a lot of undiscovered build in these games.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine in one respect, but like right now we don't need that in the game. We have too much of that.
Yeah.
Fucking brain dead builds running everywhere and too much.
Yeah. That's true. That's the problem. Like if you can make the build which is just like spam and it's rewarding, and the lazy builds should not have big rewards. That's the problem. But as long as the lazy traits are here, we will see that builds. Pretty simple, I think.
We got this the game figured out, I think, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I like your questions, man, because you are really taking the wide picture of the game.
Oh yeah, I just like to know about the game because I love it. It's the only game I play for sure. I think it's called a mono gamer. Like, all right, I play Cuphead sometimes with a friend, but that's about it. I don't have time for much else.
Yep.
And I love this game, and like if I don't know something, like you have such an interesting perspective for me, especially because all this theory crafting and like the way you approach Ranger and stuff, that's the stuff that I don't know. I never theory crafted much. Never played Ranger, so. And it's always really fun to hear from anybody that's played the game for some time. You have so much to talk about, especially an OG like yourself.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, I really enjoy to talk about this game. I enjoy obviously playing it as well, but you know, I like to believe in see things which are not even inside the game and think like, oh, that would be so awesome, and like I can even theory craft the things that doesn't exist. Man. That's how much I love this game.
Awesome. That's really nice to hear. There's so much love for this game. Goddamn.
Yeah, but of course there are also the bad times, and yeah, but of course we should look for the good times, and I think the game will be fine, especially with the expansion. But
Oh, for sure.
I think many people will come back and start to play. But I wish they use that opportunity to put Think Viz back. I think it's really needed. Because I really feel bad that this kind of action combat being wasted on just bunch of solo stuff.
That's a good point. This is why we're doing the in-houses, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool. Yeah.
Anybody listening to the podcast, be sure to join the in-house leagues every Sunday. We're putting more events on by the week, by the month. You're gonna have awesome players like Cro Tiger there.
Oh my god.
Exactly.
I'm just decent player.
Dude, it's so fun for me to watch like really decent players playing off meta builds that I know nothing of, and like I'm just looking at oh shit, yeah. Like just learning the game, slowly but surely.
Yeah.
Because it's a big game. Like I know so much, but there's so much I don't know. It's so fun.
Yeah, that's the fun part about things. You always have something more to discover.
Right. I think
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Like the new build, I like to take some skill which is not used. Like the skill guard on ranger. I'm not sure if you even know that skill, man, exists. how much it's used? It's like never used, man. But I saw like I have Dolly Extens. It's like 33 damage reduction, and the guard skill is actually giving 33 damage reduction, which makes your pet eat damage from your team. So I was like, yeah, if I'm Soul Beast, then I can revive my pet, of course. And that shit can actually work in this build. And then I saw it sucks, so I kind of get the idea, like, what the fuck? I can make rotational DPS with the support. Like, I noticed that people play, of course, a lot of holosmiths and things. So, like, it can be bad if I just go and put conditions on some target which are most oppressive in a team fight, and then I put the guard and the Dolly Extens for my teammates. It will help them survive so much of this power pressure going on. And that actually gave me idea of trying to make the ranger not roamer like a thief, but the kind of roamer which can bring utility and still do the stuff. Like, I don't know, to be like off-road police or something. To be there, when your team needs you. But yeah, it's always very, very hard. Also depends on your mood and things. But the game actually have some tools to help you achieve that goals.
What do you think? Should they make the pets more impactful or less impactful, or are they good now?
I think the pets are good. There are some pets which are overpowered, yeah, in comparison to other pets, and there is some pets which are really not bringing much value, and there is some. There are, I think they are lazy about some of the pets, but I don't know. They made a lot of them, and you have pets like they have 2 seconds and half cast time on the skill, which isn't even good. So why the fuck would I use that? yeah, I still believe everything can work, but some pets are just beyond playable, and some are mandatory. But yeah, but you still can find pets like snow wolf and things which can feel some weird build. Can be perfect for some weird scenarios.
Yeah. You know what? Like back in the day when I played Pistol Core Angie a lot, Burn.
Yeah.
Like the thing I used to abuse, and this was going on for a couple of years, if I don't remember wrong.
Yeah.
Was like every time there was a thief in both teams, and every time a thief went close. So I always went far and bursted the thief. I was like every damn game, like.
Yeah. Yeah, man. The Conde Holo is. I want to see that viable. I want to see it more play.
Oh, you should check out Chase's stream for sure. Like he makes so many builds.
The change. I don't know. It sounds weird when I hear it. That's, yeah, I know which one. Yeah. Now I know. Yeah. I checked him, but I never catched him playing the Condi actually.
Oh, dude, I watched him for years. Most definitely, like the most insightful NG to watch for sure.
Yeah, nice to hear that.
There's so much theory crafting potential in the game, and I can't wait to get to it. Like, if we can actually provoke the sort of a team comp builds and stuff like this, dude.
Yeah, that's the right trick. What you said, like I think it should be done with the kind of promoting the different team comps, like French Worms did with the Renegades. Yeah, Renegade was very strong, and of course they bully people with it, but you know they have some nice theory craft for teams. Also the 55 monks and things, but thing is we have like 5 variations inside the game people play, and most of the classes are the same. But I think we should have more team comps, different team comps in the game, and it's even it's a problem from the ArenaNet and from the community as well. I think the community is also responsible for that, because ArenaNet doesn't make a platform to test that kind of stuff. Like ATs are like just 4 times a day. But
our last community event, Mota, shout out to Mighty Teapot and Roy and those guys, was like the meta changer for the Holo nades.
Yeah.
Right. There's so little needed like to shift the meta.
Yep. That's true. That's true, but I can already see that just the Renegade will change the Shiro Renegade will change the Holosmith, because it kind of fills the same role, and it's not that much nerfed. So it still doesn't change too much. Like for example, I would like to see the team with with 4 trappers, man. Like 2 ranger trappers and 2 burn the age trappers. I like very much the burn the age build and theory craft behind it. I think it's actually good for the game, man. I know the burning is kind of too strong. It maybe needs the small shave, but not definitely not the big one. I don't think it needs any shave, to be honest, but yeah, it's just my opinion. Yeah, but I would like to test like Trapper Way, man. Like to have teams like Trapper Way, and to have teams like Weaver Way and things like that, and like Double Mesmer roaming and or Thief Mesmer roaming again, and yeah, definitely more viable roamers, and even supports. Yeah, that's the biggest difference.
Yeah, I think it just. I just hope the meta doesn't stay too tanky. That's what everybody.
Yeah. That's the most important. Yes.
Or Condi bombing or stuff like for the longest time, Scourge Firebrand thing. You know.
Yep. Yeah, that's the problem with the visuals as well. The problem with conditions, I feel like people when people complain about conditions is like from the start of this game there was so many broken condition builds, like so many, man. Like two versions of quantities, they were both really broken. Like they had like no counterplay. Like you had to dodge the first quantitative. That doesn't make sense. And the mirage as well with the Infinite Horizon. So I don't think that was healthy approach to Condis from ArenaNet. It kind of go in the bad direction. But yeah, they kind of fixed it, and I think it's kind of Condi builds are kind of fine now. Yeah, the Burn the Age is strong, but it has counterplay. Depends what you play against.
No, that's true. I think it's really balanced right now. Like, in many respects, of course, it isn't. But like if you look at how it's been for let's say the past couple of years,
Yeah.
it's really more balanced than it was for sure.
Yeah.
Like especially considering all the like double rev, or like the chrono days, like the bunker chrono, or like the mesmer burst, or like the scourge firebrand shit. Like that was pure. Like it was in game for such a long time that we're talking about it now.
That's a good point.
So I think I think the game is in a balanced state, more so because you were saying this as well. Like the community is like more. It's gotten better, right?
Yeah, I think really, in terms of balance, it's really getting better. But the problem is they need to finish what they started. That's the issue. I can't understand like why they are taking so long to finish things. Like they done some dramatic things for the balance, and they kind of left it like 1 year from it. Nothing really changed. Like I thought they're gonna put more effort after that. Yeah, like I was full like everyone else.
Oh yeah, but let's see. Let's stay optimistic for the future.
Yeah, well, of course, definitely. Yeah, this game looks fresh for me, man. Whenever I find just a new build, it feels like a new game. That's the beauty of combat.
True that. It's the best combat ever. Like
yeah, really.
And the game's gonna stay fresh. We're here keeping it fresh.
Yes, man. Yeah, that's why I like your channel, man. Because you are doing those in houses, and there are times like when the season is over, like you have nothing to do in the PvP. Those 3 versus 3 feel more like PvE for me than for PvP. To be honest, I don't like the maps for it because they kind of push that circle style of play even more. And that's why I like to see people like doing those in houses and things. I'm always happy to watch that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm sure everybody is, because it's like the only logical thing to be going for, like playing together. Because if the matching system isn't good, like.
Yes.
But, anyway, sorry, I don't want to get into ranting here. Cro Tiger, again, it was a big pleasure having you on. Your conversation.
Thank you. Same.
Yeah, really big insights into how you approach the whole theory crafting thing, which I gotta say I gotta try more. Like I gotta theory craft some shit.
Yeah, man. send me the stuff you theory crafted. I want to see it. I like to see some theory crafting.
No. Okay, I'll try to theory craft something then.
Yeah, man.
For sure. Okay.
Nice.
Everybody check out Cro Tiger's YouTube channel. He posts regularly.
Yeah, like once a week.
Yeah, that's regular. I post once a week as well.
Yeah.
Stay competitive. See you in the heart of the mists.
See ya. Ciao. Thank you.